Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Scaling Deep podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Princic, and I'm here to say a big happy new year. I hope you had a really great holiday, and I hope that you, and I know that you will be successful with your membership in 2023. And I'm going to tell you all about that in just a moment when I go over what I think is happening and the trends that I'm seeing, kind of like my predictions, I guess, that are coming up this year in terms of the subscription and membership economy. So just on a personal note, I am actually looking forward to a really flowy, sustainable next few months in my business. I worked really hard in the last couple of weeks. I shouldn't say really hard. I mean, I didn't work Christmas Day, but I think I spent a few hours almost every day over the holidays working on leveling up my system, like my emails. I rewrote my sales page for my Profitable Membership Club, and I made a few decisions, put out a survey to my membership, and figured out some of the important things that I will be bringing into it and to help facilitate their growth going forward. So yeah, was that the right time? Yeah, it was actually for me because when something doesn't feel like it's quite working properly or it feels a little bit broken, and I know how to fix it, I just have to jump in. And so yes, it's been a busy, couple weeks with family and other things going on, but it's also been a really busy first week back. And now I feel like I'm going to start to be able to coast a little bit. Now, coast is never something I probably completely do, but I will never feel like I have to stay up late and finish something because now I get to work on visibility projects and my presentations for summits that are coming up and new workshop ideas that I want to put out there and new ways of offering some of the private one-on-one services that I have and things like that I will have time to really think about. That's all that CEO time. That's all that growth time that we don't do a lot when we are desperately seeking ways to get new clients and when we are busy putting out fires. So this is what these two things have done really well for me. Having clarity on my program, who it's for, how I can help has allowed me to grow it from barely happening this past summer to a nice base of monthly recurring revenue. And second of all, I have such confidence in what I'm offering and who I'm helping inside and how to help them that I just feel like secure and confident. And now I can work on those like strategic and inspirational moves, like what's going to get me to help more people? How is this going to get even more easy? Because those systems are in place. Like how I deliver what I deliver is always being a little bit tweaked because I'm super responsive and I want to make it amazing for people. And then the system I have to get people learning about me, knowing more about me, knowing how I can help them, that getting that to a point where now it just needs a little bit of adjustment here and there. And maybe as new ideas pop in, I can put them out there, but I don't feel like I'm rushing from thing to thing to thing. It is just so stable. So that's so important. And now I'm going to work on super fun things that can maybe help something I do really take off quickly. Like the fun stuff, those creative ideas we get, we're like, oh, I just really want to put out this workshop, or oh, here's a really great idea. But knowing that the base is there. And so it's not one of these like one hit wonders, like, oh, I just stuck something out there and it did really well. And then you can't replicate it. And then that is what I'm wanting to avoid. And I want all of you to avoid. Okay, but let's dive in. And I just got my handy little notes here because I want to talk about what I think is happening in the subscription and membership market and what I think we're going to see more of, not only this year, but in the next several years, because there's one stat I want to point out to you, and that is that I think it was the UBS that in 2021 put out a report that predicted the subscription economy to reach 1.5 trillion by 2025, which is only a couple years away. So of course that includes all kinds of services that we're used to paying maybe in a more transactional way and all kinds of personal things and things that we've been doing for so long that we might not even notice. Like that's not just membership sites, which is what I'm here to talk about, is offering services and content and training and coaching, all that in a subscription model. But that's everything. But still, that just goes to show you that trend is continuing. It's the way we're doing business. It's all these apps and technology and systems that are allowing us to be able to do that. And that's just how everything is being done. And it's also how everyone's learning to buy and how they're seeing that way of purchasing as access, and how they're getting more comfortable and getting more accustomed to paying for access and not for things that are one-off. So that is definitely a good thing to support anyone who has a membership or wants to have a membership or is trying to grow it, is that people are kind of more influenced to enjoy things that way and appreciate it and not necessarily question it all the time. So that really preludes what I'm going to talk about in terms of these trends. So the first one is about businesses. Okay, so I'm going to predict more and more people switching to subscription offers. And that isn't necessarily all low ticket memberships or even traditional memberships, but I'm seeing more and more people offering access to their ongoing services in a subscription kind of membership style. So even some of these masterminds, which I've spoken about before, are offering smorgasbord-like memberships. Like a traditional mastermind, like maybe 10 years ago or even 20 years ago. Well, 20 years ago was show up in person once a week or once a month. 10 years ago or 5 years ago was get on this group call every week. Well, I'm seeing masterminds more like memberships in that they're offering diverse ways to learn. Like you can show up on the calls, but they're not all about the calls. You can dive into the materials and training, but they're not all about that. They are if you want them to be. And they are offering even some private coaching type access with perimeters. So those are very membership-like. It's access-oriented, meaning you use and you take what you need, and you don't need to consume everything or be everywhere or follow a linear path. They are set up to meet people where they are at. And so that is why I think more and more businesses are recognizing that people learn in different ways and want different things. Like just recently, I did a survey to my membership and found out that, half the people said, I love the group calls. The other half said, I love the course as the number one thing, because everyone is there for something different. Some people have a lot of business knowledge, or they already have a membership and they just need to figure out a few more things that are not working as well. And others are learning everything kind of from scratch. And some people have already been thinking about memberships for years, those ones who are new. And others are like, I have no idea. I don't even know what the idea is yet for it. I know that I want a membership in my business, but I don't exactly know what. So it's just really allowing us to not have to be so cautious about who we invite into a program, especially if it's group oriented, that they'll be at different places. Like it allows for that and they learn from each other. So that's number one. Number two, based on that, as a result of that, I think that we're going to see more and more high ticket memberships. So memberships that are several $100s and more. Now, I don't mean inflated programs that have thousands of people in them. That some of those are great and others are probably charging a little too much, but I'm talking about like higher ticket access like programs that might be high hundreds or even thousands that are membership just like I was describing. They have all those different things that you can get out of them, and then you don't even have to show up for one of those months, and you're still in a system that is supporting you, because one month you might be like using everything. So I think we're going to see more of memberships high ticket, and people being comfortable paying a subscription that is not super low. Forget about, oh, I didn't even know I was in this, or I'm in it and it's so low I can't be bothered to cancel. But they're higher ticket and people are accepting that they're still getting exceptional value for that and not questioning it all the time, because the other options are huge, like bigger high ticket one-off purchases that they have to like do something with right away, and it's not quite giving them that support. So I see that as being something that is going to continue to grow, and our acceptance as buyers, well, as business owners, we're going to get more comfortable with that. And as buyers, we're going to get more comfortable paying for that. I know there's this huge movement and this huge growth of micro memberships, like the super low ticket, like the $7, $9 ones. I'm going to put that in a separate category for now and just say, I look at those and see them a little bit more like audience builders. And I don't think that for the majority of them are high profit models, because I know I've seen a lot of people go, in these groups, they're like, oh, I just launched a low ticket membership for $9 and I got 100 people in it. I look at that and I think, if you can get to 1,000 quickly, it'll, because naturally, then great. But a lot of those people are going to be stuck at the $100 number the 100 person number, and which actually is about $100 per year, and they're not going to be able to grow it inexpensively. So if they are growing it, they're probably doing it at such a cost that there's no profit in it. So it's actually serving to build their audience and their list and the people who are paying attention to them and their brand, their message, the training, what they have to say, and how they can help, and they might lead to other things, but I don't think the majority of those people are going to be able to make a profit from that. And so that's why I'm kind of separating that as a different tactic as opposed to a program. I see it as a tactic. So it's almost like instead of doing something like gathering people for free somewhere, they're doing it for a small fee, which is kind of like the tiny offer or, self-liquidating offer, like the $37 workshop that likely the cost of getting people in those is going to cost as much as how much you earn from it. And therefore it is a bit of a loss leader, an excellent audience builder, but not necessarily a core program. Like you're going to have something else, likely if you have a low ticket membership, to actually make money. Again, there are exceptions. Some people who have got the right thing. They have the right niche, hook, offer. The simplicity of what they're offering is so simple and to the point that they are able to run it smoothly and earn a profit because it just goes viral or whatever. But that is, again, the exception. So that brings me to number 3, which I'm going to predict is we're getting more personalization in our membership. So instead of them all being these large programs where everyone kind of gets the same thing, we're to make them really successful, we're getting innovative. And of course, technology and platforms are getting more innovative, and our ability to figure out like how to serve members at different phases and with different needs and strengths and like areas where they need to improve, that's going to get more personal. Now, I know that everyone's trying to find the perfect app or the perfect piece of technology or platform to help do that. But I don't think it's going to require that. I think it's just going to require our communication and our onboarding a little bit more clear and a little more direct in terms of how we are calling out the needs that people have. So this is more of our knowledge than having a system that does it automatically. It's how we're able to say, are you here? Are you here? Are you here? And if you are here and you need this, here's where you go. Now you can do that on a spreadsheet. And I'm creating an amazing membership roadmap for my own program, the Profitable Membership Club, and it's going to be on a spreadsheet because it's going to be so clickable, linkable, scannable, so that people don't get lost in like blocks of courses and starting down paths where they don't need to go down, because efficiency is critical. And our success in a membership is not, as a membership business owner, is not wasting people's time, is making sure that they are not coming in and going, I can't deal with this. This is too much. This is not at my level. This is not my style. And it is more meeting anyone where they're at with the information or the tools that they need to get them started on the thing that you teach and starting to make progress. Because if they can make progress, you can help them further. Right? So that's why the people who always do really well in my program are also people who jump on a private coaching call, which I offer at a discount to my membership, or some of them come on get VIP days first. And then once they've got that foundation set up, they're just like, bam, and they just implement, right? So they're getting so much further than staying stuck in still trying to make the decisions for a long period of time. So that is the number 3 one, personalization. All right. So I am also going to predict in relation to this is that more people are going to accept all the different places where they're going to get value for the programs they're in. And someone I just heard today, because I listened to a podcast, was saying, I predict more people are coming back to Facebook. Perhaps they are for things like free groups and stuff, but I actually think the bigger trend and the bigger success trend for programs that are really taking off and developing their own reputation, their own following, and like loyal members and real value are going to be served elsewhere, because technology is getting smarter and platforms are getting better at serving us and as members and as owners. And we are, as owners, way more enjoying managing things off of Facebook, right? Like once we choose a platform and we get to know how to use it, we have to teach our members how to use it for sure. But we also can find our ways of communicating, right? So Facebook doesn't communicate very well and it's sporadic. And yes, you can tag people and yes, you can organize, but it's not like controlled the same way as you can when you have a platform where everyone's connected, their emails are linked to that platform, and you can decide to say, do the broadcast from the wherever you use. I mean, again, right now I'm using Slack. That may or may not change. And then I'm using Zenler for my course material, but Slack is the hub, and that I'm finding new ways of like doing shortcuts and things like that help people connect easily and help me manage what I need to make sure their needs are being met. So while that is good for us, is it good for our members? Well, unless you've got a really low tech, lower sophistication level B2C potentially crowd that, aren't as savvy, I think most people are willing to get on whatever platform that you have, because the more and more of the world is going towards apps and technology. And it doesn't matter how savvy they are, when they start to learn and they start to do anything that is taking them into a world of learning and training, they're going to have to get used to that app. And that's going to happen more and more. So we're just going to get used to knowing where our apps are and what programs are where. And then that brings me to the final prediction, which is related to that. And that is that I think people are going to be more discretionary about what they choose. Now, this is maybe just a piece of advice more than it is a prediction. But I think that if we're going to be part of 20 groups, we're probably not getting the value we need out of any of them, and as buyers, as members, and we're probably not getting further along by in making our knowledge in depth enough, or learning in depth enough to actually do something with it and take it to the next level. Like, sure, there are minor, small places we can hop into for tips and for inspiration and all that, and that's maybe a higher volume, lower ticket kind of program that we might be in, because it just gives us that one little thing that we need. But I think because focus is so important in order to succeed, and it's more important in a market that's slightly recessionary or has a little bit less discretionary budgets and spending, that I think we're going to have to really make sure that ours is serving a need. It's really valuable and really important and really clear in order to either keep the volume or charge enough so that someone is willing to jump in and pay for it and then use it. Because success is in the user, not the buyer. We don't want people who buy something and then either ignore it and don't use it and are not raving fans and not get anywhere, because that does not help us grow. It does not help our reputation. It doesn't help our confidence. It doesn't help anything. So we want to make sure that we are creating that program that really does stand out so that it gets used no matter where it is. And I think people are going to start choosing less, because enough people are going to look at the credit card statement and go, what is this? What is this? What is this? And I don't use it. And so that just means that you have to stand out. Like I said, I posted this, I think in one of my sales emails, because I kind of wanted to propose a topic like, is this a good time to launch a membership? Is this economy right for it? And actually, I think that it really is, because the value is so high, but we also just have to make sure that our value is high and that the programs that aren't doing as well are the ones that are bloated. And that could be just based on a reputation from 10 years ago that was the only one in the game. And now that there's so many people offering similar services that are better, those ones will start to lose, because people will be actually asking questions instead of just saying, oh, I've heard this is good, I'm going to sign up. And I'm noticing that more. I'm getting more people asking me, is this right for me? Because here's my situation. And I get that a lot with the people who sign up at the Profitable Membership Club. They don't need a ton of back and forth or a sales call, but they're asking at least a question or two. Like, not all of them, but quite a few are, because they are trying to make good decisions. And a lot of people have been saying to me, I have invested in a lot of programs, higher ticket programs, and also lower ticket courses or medium ticket courses. And they're like, it's just not gotten me to where I thought they would get me, and I'm disappointed. And that's also where the person like you who cares about your members and is offering something like medium ticket perhaps can actually get back to them and be like, I want to get back to you because I care. I want you to come in. And that's the kind of service I offer. So that, I think that's where people are going to start to be a little more cautious about what they buy, and they're going to make sure it's going to get them results. So that's your job. I just want to wrap that up today with that, because it is a big topic. If you have any comments, feel free to put them below, or questions, or you can pop into my free Facebook group, Membership Site Mastery with Lisa Princic, and ask me a question or make a comment on that there. I would love to hear from you and find out how you are ensuring that you're not just following the trends, but like creating something that is meaningful, that is memorable, that is result oriented, and no matter what the cost, no matter what this level of service, that you are confident that you're doing that this year. I cannot wait to hear all about it. So thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye for now.